Yep, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my stream. And I want to do this as much as I can. So, if it's only one person, two people, three people watch my stream 4 5 days a week, I would appreciate it. Yeah, man, as you can tell in the title, Andrew Tate is very, very angry about the situation that took place with Charlie Kirk just a couple of days ago. He has a strong feeling that he could possibly be next. He's claiming that there is a list that's out of people that should be assassinated, and he's under the assumption that he's part of that list. So yeah, guys, let's watch this interview, and guys, let me know in the chat how you feel about this interview, and let's get it going, man. I hope you guys are good out there. Hope everything is going fine. Let's get into this interview, guys. Let's go.
Andrew, how are you?
Quite deeply affected, to be honest.
I read your one of your tweets. There's a few of them. They're pretty strong statements that you've made. One of them says it's not only Charlie, there's a list, they're coming for the rest of us. What do you mean by that?
We no longer live in any kind of civilized political discourse. The left and the right are not arguing about interest rates or economic policy. This is a complete different worldview. These people lack spirits and souls, and they believe that anybody who disagrees with them or says a word counter to their narrative deserves a bullet in the neck. This is no longer political discourse. This is a divide which is much larger than most divides, which caused endless wars across the planet. And Charlie Kirk was killed for being the good guy, for being the nice guy. He hasn't been nearly as inflammatory as I have with many subjects. And they believe we deserve death, and they celebrate the death of Charlie Kirk in a disgusting, inhumane manner. Let's not forget, because it's easy to forget, attempts. Not only did they try to kill Trump.
Don't pay anything to fix your roof. New York City homeowners can get a free roof while paying zero out of it.
But we forget it because they were unsuccessful. They tried to kill Nick Fuentes. We forget it because they were unsuccessful. Did you even know they tried to kill me? Type Andrew Tate knife attack. Last month, somebody put on a high-vis vest pretending to be a builder, trying to get access to my house with a blade. And when he was identified, started slashing randomly because he couldn't kill me. So I'm on a death list also. And the media is spinning and hyper-radicalizing low IQ people into attacking anybody who has a worldview that's different to theirs. The media is absolutely, completely complicit. And I would argue that very few people on the planet had larger voices for the masculine youth than Charlie Kirk. If you want to say some names which are possibly up there, it's myself and Nick, and we've already had.
That's the only thing that I don't really understand about Andrew Tate. Let me make this clear. I like Andrew Tate. I think the guy is a great guy. But what he doesn't understand, the reason behind the unfortunate death of Charlie Kirk, it was the lack of acknowledging other people's feelings. We live in a society today that it is praised. It is praised, and it is necessary for people to make financial gains by being disrespectful to other people's way of life. That's the whole thing about the people in the world as Andrew Tate. And I don't include our president. Mr. Donald J. Trump is not one of those people. So let's make this clear. The words that comes out of Mr. Andrew Tate's mouth, he don't realize that those words are more powerful than any of the kicks when he was a kickboxer that any of the kicks that he land on his opponents, Mr. Andrew Tate has to realize the words that comes out of his mouth towards other people is way more vicious than any of the punches that he land on any of his opponents when he was doing kickboxing. Even now, he's still tossing stuff whenever he's sparring with somebody. He don't understand the power of words, because he's making a very great living off of speaking his mind. And once again, United States is a free speech country, 100%. But we have to understand as human beings, as God kids, at what point do we draw the line when it comes to free speech? I don't think it's a good and it's necessary. I don't think it's a good idea, and I really don't think it's necessary to go down the path of using freedom of speech to hurt other people's lives. Let's continue watching this video.
Had attempts on our life. This is disgusting. And this is no longer a political divide. This is no longer about policy. This is about good and evil. This is about right and wrong. This is a war. This is almost an unfixable problem. When people are laughing and celebrating a father dying in front of his children because he disagreed with their worldview, especially when their worldview is wrong. Let's analyze as professionals. If you're going to sit and tell the world that men can be women because they put on a wig, and they believe you deserve a bullet in the neck the second you disagree with them, they are fighting objective reality. You can't agree or disagree with these people. Where is the political solution for people you cannot agree, disagree, conversate, or debate with? You tell me how we have a political solution to this. I'm on a forever kill list. As was Charlie, as is Nick, as is Trump, as is anyone who tries to enforce basic reality, as is Elon. Elon saved the world. He's trying to make humans multiplanetary, and people will laugh if he dies. Do you understand the spiritual sickness we're discussing here? This isn't politics. This isn't policy. This is a complete lack of souls. You know, people often attack me for toxic masculinity, and the masculine essence, in and of itself, always had respect for their adversaries. When you finish fighting, you shake hands. Even generals in old wars would show respect to their opponent after they killed them, or they would allow surrender. There's always been a degree of respect in combat amongst the masculine mindset, the masculine realm. But these new liberals, this hyper-feminized feminist, even the men are basically girls. Harry Sisson, Dean Withers, they're female. They have no respect for the sanctity of life. If somebody annoys them or disagrees with them once, they believe that person deserves to die and they celebrate it. That's not the masculine way. My worst enemy could die.
I don't think people deserve to die because of what they say. I honestly think people should be allowed to say and express themselves in whichever way they choose. But Andrew Tate has to understand, he may not like the fact that a man transitioned into a woman. He may not like that fact. But he has to realize that man that's transitioning into a woman and would like to be called a woman, that is what make that individual happy. That is exactly why that individual is doing that, because it brings them happiness. So if he's talking about having a debate, and if in generals shake hands after a war, after combat, absolutely. In a violent situation, yes. If we agree to go to war, win or lose, if I win or lose, we shake hands after the violence is stopped. Absolutely. But this is not a war. People like Andrew Tate is making millions of dollars bashing and being blatantly disrespectful to other people, decisions they're making in their own lives. And that's what I don't think it's okay. Like all the masculinity stuff he talks about with young guys and all of that stuff, listen, whatever. But when coming to disrespecting people for wanting to be happy, for disrespecting people for wanting to be better in life, for wanting to be happier in life, that's what I don't like. You understand? Like, you don't have to agree that there is a girl who want to become a boy. You don't have to agree with those things. But as God kids, we have to be more accepting and more understanding to each other's differences. I don't have to want that for my daughter. I don't have kids, but I'm just using, like, if I have a kid as an example. If I have a son, I would not want my son to go down the path of changing who he was born, who God put him on this earth to be. But that's me. So I will make sure I do whatever it takes to show my son the way that I was brought up. But in reality, if still I'm showing my son everything that I learned from my grandparents who brought me up in this world and made me into and turned me into a man, a strong man, you know, if I could show my son the same steps that I took as a baby to becoming an adult, and still my son said, listen, I don't feel comfortable being this way. At that point, if you're an adult, you have to do whatever you have to do, and you have to be respectful of people's decision making, regardless if it's my kid or not. I think it's very important to be respectful of people's decision making in life, especially when they're adults. And it's not right for any of us to be bashing anybody based on the decision they make for their own life. Let's keep watching this interview.
In front of his children, I would do nothing but support his family. I would send them money and make sure that his kids could eat. My worst enemies. We are living in the most disgusting period of human history. This is absolutely disgusting. And I don't see a political solution for these savages who are perfectly prepared to kill and celebrate over a few words. And the fact that I'm on a kill list doesn't bother me. It's not about me, it's about Charlie. The fact that he was the nice guy. So you can't be a nice guy to these people. They will kill you. What are we supposed to do here, Mara?
Your AI coding agent is only as good as the prompts and the context you give it. That's why this is a killer feature.
I'll read out a tweet that he said, assassination culture is spreading on the left. 48% of liberals say it would be at least somewhat justified to murder Elon Musk. 55% said the same about Donald Trump. In California, activists are naming ballot measures after Luigi Mangione. The left is being whipped into a violent frenzy. I worry about labeling this left versus right. And there's one of your tweets, and I'm sure you were emotional when you posted it. You said just civil war. That's what you said.
I said civil war is coming. Because the only prerequisite to war, the only way to avoid war is a degree of negotiation or discourse. Which is why I asked you the very well-constructed question.
And that is something I have a huge problem with as well. Because when you're putting a label on things like the left and the right, and young kids right now, is because of all of the protests and all of the violence that's behind all of this stuff. Young kids are being put in a predicament where they have to choose. Is either I'm with the left or I'm with the right. They're not being put in a predicament where they have to choose what's right. No, they're being put in a predicament where they have to go for either or, the left or the right. Nobody's pushing nobody's pushing out the narrative of choose and continue to participate in what's morally right for every one of us. Because at the end of the day, we all got kids. Andrew Tate, and there's other guys like him that's pushing that left and right agenda. In reality, this is just making us more and more divided. as human beings. I'm not into politics. I love Mr. Donald J. Trump before he became a politician in 2016. I respected him and loved him from since he was on the TV show, when he was telling people they're fired. I respect him as my elder. I respect him as a businessman. I respect him as the commander-in-chief. I respect him as the president of the United States. But before all of the presidency and the election stuff and the politics, I always been a fan of Mr. Donald J. Trump. And he keep bringing up Mr. Donald J. Trump. He keep bringing up the president. You don't hear our president, you don't hear Mr. Trump bashing and being disrespectful to nobody based on their gender. No. Mr. Trump makes policies which is sensible policies. He makes very sensible policies, and he signs executive orders that's common sense. The executive order that Mr. Trump signed, that boys should not be playing in girls' sports, it's common sense. It doesn't matter as how many steroids and how many different chemicals and drugs a boy will use to transition into a girl. The strength of a boy never go away. That's what people don't understand. Regardless how much anything that a male, somebody who was born a male, and they decide to transition into a woman, your strength that you was born with as a male, it never goes away. Your voice could change, you could grow different things, you could put drugs in your body to develop different parts of your body as a woman, but your strength will always remain a man. You will always have manly strength. So it's common sense when the president went and signed that executive order that males do not supposed to play in female sports and females don't supposed to play in male sports. It's just common sense. But we are not talking about that. Mr. Trump is not going on social media. Mr. Trump is not on any network when he does his press conferences every single day bashing people, being disrespectful to people. No, he does not. So he continue saying the president is on that list. Listen, I'm pretty sure every politician in this world that's a world leader, they're going to be hated for some reason. It doesn't matter who you are in this world. There is always going to be somebody that hates you. You don't need to be a powerful president for you to be hated by someone else. The whole point I'm trying to make is Andrew Tate is not going to take accountability to realize the situation that he's in right now after what happened to Mr. Charlie Kirk. He feels like he's in a situation that, oh, I'm next, I'm on that list. He don't understand the reason why people don't like him and people dislike him, and it's a lot of people that dislike him for the things that comes out of his mouth. Mr. Andrew Tate don't have any type of idea that how powerful is his words. There is no kickboxing match that Mr. Andrew Tate ever been a part of. There is no kicking or punching that he ever land on one of his opponents that is more powerful than the words that comes out of Mr. Andrew Tate's mouth. That's what he has to understand. Let's keep watching this.
Just a second ago, how do we have discourse with people that we can't politely speak to, and we can't disagree with, and we have to completely capitulate to their false worldview? Otherwise, we deserve a bullet in the neck. Explain to me how discourse can solve this. This is me genuinely asking you a question. I don't know. Ben Shapiro canceled all his appearances. So civil war is going to be the end result. I'm not calling for violence. What I'm making very clear is that there is no alternative if these people will not sit down and have a conversation. America's in a very difficult predicament. I understand the free speech. I understand we want to live in a democracy and freedom. I understand these things. But if we're going to allow social media platforms to celebrate people's deaths the way that Charlie's death is currently being celebrated, the country is going to disappear within 5 years. So if I was president, normally I have all the answers. But now, for once, I'm stumped. What would I even do as president? Can I lock all these people up? Probably not. Can I round them all up? No. Am I just going to let them celebrate and laugh? Am I going to let every single person who says something controversial be threatened with death? Am I going to allow every single time Andrew Tate or Nick Fuentes or you or Elon or anyone makes a post that these people don't agree with, for them to start writing underneath it Charlie Kirk, LOL, coming next, and radicalizing more and more people to believe that we deserve to die? Let me ask you a question. I have daughters. I think that human traffickers should be killed. I'm sure you think the same. The media called me a human trafficker for 4 years and I've never been convicted. There are people who believe I deserve to die. I've never been convicted of a crime, and I'm innocent. I didn't do anything. That's why this man came here with a knife to kill me. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? How can I have political discourse with these people? How can I explain to them this was a hit job on me and my reputation? How can I talk to them if they don't believe that a man who puts on a wig isn't actually truly a woman? How do I talk to somebody who doesn't believe in gravity? How do I talk to someone whose worldview is so warped and so corrupted? They don't understand the basic premises of Earth, the basic realities. They don't believe in the sun, the moon, the sky, the ground. How can I talk to these people? And when I try, no matter how articulate, in fact, this isn't about me. When Charlie was articulate, kind, interesting, witty, he was polite, he gave his time, when he tried his very best to explain to them how they were wrong and repeatedly decimated them in the world of logic, all they do, instead of learning their lesson, is call for his death and laugh when it happens. How do I find a political solution to this? It's a genuine question.
All right, this feels almost illegal to know, but our windows were so old and just desperately needed to be replaced.
I don't know. Like I was speaking to Congressman Jim Jordan just a few days ago, as well as Ben Habib in the UK, which I know you're doing some political stuff in the UK, and they both said that.
How can we solve this type of problems? By being more respectful to people's differences. It's simple. You are sitting there worried about somebody putting on a wig and calling themselves a girl. Why does that bother you? That's my whole thing. Why does that bother you? If that person that's putting on that wig and want to be a woman, let that person be. If that person want to be called a woman, let that person call that person a woman. My whole thing is, he's talking about war and violence. This doesn't have to go that far. It's basic knowledge. Treat people with the respect that you want others to treat you with. That's how life is. If you see someone that you know for 4 years and you knew them as a boy, and after 4 years you see them again, and all of a sudden they want to be called a girl and they look like a girl and they have a wig on, whatever it might be, but they want to be called a girl, you respect them and you call them what they want to be called. Because they're happy. That's their life. That has nothing to do with you. That's my whole thing about this whole problem. It don't matter to me what people decide to do with their lives. It's their lives. If that make them happy, let them do it. Once again, our president, Mr. Donald J. Trump, he signed an executive order once he came into office, which was a common sense thing. They should have never allowed transgenders who was born a man to go in a boxing ring with a woman that was born a woman. Regardless, as I said, it's never going to be even. If you're a transgender person who was born a man and you transition into a woman, you should not be allowed to go into a boxing match, into a ring with actually a person that was born a female. And the reason why? Because your strength. Being born a female, you will not find a stronger woman than a man. It's just not logically, it's just not the way it is. Even if you have a female, right? Let me give you an example. If you have a female and a male, and they both decide to do steroids, the male is still going, and they're doing the same cycles of steroids. The male is still going to be stronger than that female. The strength is not going to be even. It's never going to be even. So when Mr. President Trump signed that executive order, that's just common sense. That had to be done. But that's where it stops. But you have guys like Andrew Tate that thinking it's okay to belittle people, disrespect people because they want to be they want to be they want to be something that make them happy. Just let people be happy, bro. There's no need to go down the path, and I know that Andrew Tate is making millions of dollars with his type of philosophy about life. He thinks in his head, okay, let's have a discussion about you wanting to be a girl and you was born a man. Why? Let's not have a discussion. Let's just be happy for people. Let's just let people live their lives. If that make them happy, share with them. I'm a firm believer in sharing with people, just laughing with people, clapping with people, because if that's what make them happy, just be happy for people, bro. There is no need to bash and belittle people and make people feel bad about what they are and what they're doing with themselves. There's no need for that.
The US is the final front for free speech. It's the pinnacle of free speech. And then when you have something like that,
but this is the thing that's so dangerous, Mario. For there to be free speech, there can't be limits on the speech, but there must be within the population a basic understanding and parameters of objective reality. Everybody must understand gravity exists, right? There can't be free speech if everybody's saying, let's throw children off of buildings, gravity's not real. Eventually you're calling for murder. At a certain point, when objective reality has been decimated to the point where there are no parameters left, like this man-woman crap, or how killing children is somehow important to do, or that we shouldn't have borders and unlimited numbers of people should turn up and we don't know who they are, or we shouldn't arrest criminals, and criminals shouldn't go to jail. When you have absolutely no parameters left, how can you have free speech without inciting for what exactly happened? At a certain point, free speech just becomes inciting for violence, and the violence comes because these people do not have respect for life, they don't have respect for a differing opinion, they don't have respect for anything. So we've lost control of a large percentage of the Western population who live in a fantasy land. And in their fantasy land, they think people deserve bullets in the neck unless you also drink the Kool-Aid. What is the political solution to this? There are people who I know when they get me, there's going to be large celebrations. And people are going to say, he said women can't park cars. He deserves to die and orphan all his children because of a joke. But they will make jokes about Charlie Kirk's death. And they don't care. They don't see the hypocrisy in that. These people are soulless. The West has lost its soul. There is no honor left. Not even the basic masculine dignity of showing respect.
And listen, Mr. Tate, you got to be careful what comes out your mouth, because he's saying that he's next, and when they get him, don't use words like that, because you're basically asking for something bad to happen to you. Always was told it when I was little. Everything, our words is very powerful. So by you saying that you're next, I don't think nobody deserves to die for words. I really don't. And he brought up the free speech in the United States. It's a free speech. United States is a free speech country, but it's free speech to an extent. Free speech should not be hurting other people's feelings. Free speech should not be covered on the making people feel bad about a decision they made with their own life. You know, that's where I'm at when it comes to free speech. You know, I don't think it's necessary. And I'm just saying, as a human being, I just don't think that we need to take the fact of free speech and use it to belittle people. I don't think as a human being that we should take the fact that as United States people that we have free speech, but I don't think it's necessary to use the free speech line when you're using free speech to hurt other people for being themselves. That's, to me, that's where that should stop. because you're making a financial gain by hurting other people's feelings, and you don't expect that to incite some type of chaos. Words are way more powerful than any kick or any punch Mr. Andrew Tate could throw at anybody. That's what he didn't understand. His words are way more powerful than any uppercut, any punch, any kick that he could throw at anybody. So if you don't think about your words that's coming out of your mouth that's directed to people that just want to live a happy life, that just want to know, okay, you know what? I know they know. They know, okay, I was born a male, but I want to transition into a woman. I want people to accept me for who I am right now. That's all people ask. Accept people for who they are. Accept people for what they want to do with their own life. It's not affecting you, but you're making a fortune by being one of the top critics of how people choose to live their life. You're making millions of dollars, and you don't expect that to turn out into becoming a chaotic situation for yourself. Think about it.
To a fallen enemy. Nothing. There is nothing left. I want you to speak to Elon. I want to get on the rocket and go to Mars. I am completely heartbroken. Not just because of Charlie. Not just because I know I'm next. I'm heartbroken for humanity. I'm ready to die. I've had a great life. I'm heartbroken for the Western world as we know it. And anyone with a brain should be.
Are you a consultant, coach, or professional who wants to attract clients, secure speaking gigs, or grow your revenue? Since you've already built...
I remember when we did a space not long after Trump's assassination, I think on the same day, and that was before that, and he said on the space, I will never kill myself. And Elon said something similar, and I think, I'm not sure who else, Alex Jones might have said something similar on that space. And you know, afterwards we saw Trump's assassination attempt, and now we saw Charlie shot in the neck. It seems like we're just slowly walking into that world, and we keep moving on. People have moved on from the president almost killed just a few months ago. What do you think is going to happen now after Charlie Kirk's death? Are we just going to move on and live our life like we did after Trump's assassination attempt?
I hope not. However, I think we do need a solid plan. I mean, it's easy to descend into chaos and more senseless acts of violence, but we need a solid plan, which is why I asked the question I asked earlier. What do we do about these people? This is a genuine question. I'm not even insinuating the answer. I'm asking, what do we do about the people who believe that it's good that he died? What do we do about the people who believe Elon Musk should die? What do we do about the people who believe that I, because the media lied about me for years and I was never convicted, should be dead? What do we do about the people who believe Candace Owens should die? What do we do about the person who was laughing that Nick Fuentes almost died? Nobody even...
This happened with the Trump assassination.
Andrew Tate, there are always going to be people that's going to be angry and mad at anybody and everybody. You're always gonna have a hater. You're always gonna have someone that's mad at you for whatever reason. I'm broke, and I have so many people that I loved and I treated with all the respect and all the best of my ability, and they all betrayed me, lied on me, wanted to see me suffer. And I've been nothing but good to all of those people. So in reality, in life, don't matter who you are, don't matter what's your background, you're always going to have people that's going to want to see you suffer. You're always going to have people that don't want to see you grow into becoming something better than they are. That's just how this world is. You know, unfortunately, that's just how this world is. But my whole thing to you, Mr. Andrew Tate, and to anybody else, to going forward in life, you have to understand free speech should have a limit of things. And when I say limit, I mean that there is no need to use free speech to hurt other people's feelings. There is no need for you to use free speech to break up family homes. There is no need to use free speech to belittle people, to make people feel like they're nothing because of who they want to be. Free speech, I completely understand. Free speech means say whatever it's on your mind. Say whatever you feel like saying. But all of you guys, every one of you people that always talking about free speech, every one of you people always said to, on your interviews, on stuff like that, on social media, you always say at the end of everything, I'm a godly person. If you're truly a God-loving person, you should know that God wants us to live God wants us to be happy together. If you're truly a God-loving person, you should know that God wants all of his kids to be happy together. You should know as a godly person that God does not want us to judge each other. God wants us to love each other for who we are and for what we want to do with our lives. Criminals, murderers, all of those people, whomever is committing crimes in this world deserve to go to jail, deserve to be in prison, 100%. But you talking about round up people that doesn't like you or people that want to see you hurt. Listen, there's always going to be people like that in this world. You're a multimillionaire. I'm broke. And there's people that knows me want to see me hurt. And I've been a good guy. I don't belittle people. I don't be disrespectful to people. I wish everybody the best. I wish everybody happiness because I'm God kid. We all God kids. So I wish happiness to everybody. If I know you for 10 years and I know you as Ray, and after 2 years I haven't seen you and all of a sudden your name is Stephanie, guess what? The 10 years that I know Ray, that's the past. From this day forward, you're Tiffany. I'm very huge on building people up instead of bringing them down. And you have to understand the words that comes out of your mouth bring a lot of people down. It doesn't build people up because you talking about man, woman stuff is garbage. It's garbage to you. But you coming on social media and you coming on the internet and saying those things, it's a lot of people who spend thousands of dollars to make that transition from being a male into a female. And you calling their lifestyle garbage. What do you expect for people to eat angers people? Those are things that will anger people because these people spend thousands of dollars to change their appearance. And all they want in return is to be respected. But you have guys like you and your voice is very powerful. You made millions of dollars using your voice and God bless you. But Mr. Andrew Tate, I respect you, sir, and this is not no disrespect to you or your brother or nobody in your circle. I'm just somebody who just want all of us as human beings, all of us as God kids to unite and love each other just unconditionally. And you were saying earlier in this interview that how is this going to stop? The only how this is going to stop, sir, is when you stop benefiting off of bringing people down. When you decide to stop calling people's lifestyles garbage, this is when this could stop. But until then, if you think the way people live their lives are garbage, regardless if they didn't ask you for no money to go to the doctor for no surgery or nothing, they're living their life. But yet, you take it upon yourself to call their lifestyle garbage. It's always going to come back. I believe in karma. I believe in, doing what's right. Because I think we all should be loved unconditionally. No matter what we decide to do with our lives, once we are not committing crimes, once we are not doing nothing bad in this society, we should all be loved. A lot of transgender people, they're not bad people, But the words that comes out your mouth towards the transgender community, it's hurtful to transgenders. Because you have to understand, your words are powerful. And this transgender community already go through enough as it is, trying to be accepted in society. You said you're a God kid, Miss Andrew Tate. You said, I think you convert from Christian to Muslim. So, regardless what religion you represent, sir, don't be judgmental. Don't be hateful. And everything should be fine. I'll catch you guys in the next one, man. Ladies and gentlemen, this was fun. I really had a good time making this video, honestly. And hopefully every night we could do this 4 or 5 times a week. You know, to Miss Andrew Tate, God bless you and your family, sir. And to everybody out there in the United States and all around the world, all God kids, may God bless us all. To our Commander-in-Chief, Mr. Donald J. Trump, sir, I salute you. May God bless you and your entire family, sir. May God watch over you and your entire families on this beautiful night where I'm at and forever. That's our Commander-in-Chief, Mr. Donald J. Trump. God bless everybody out there, man. Stay safe. Always remain vigilant, guys. Let's love each other and let's do what's right for each other. This world would be a better and a safer place for us all when we come together and build each other up. Instead of separating each other and bringing each other down, let's work together to build each other up, make our communities, our neighborhoods stronger. Let's all do it together. God bless all.